Stephen Moore is the chairman for the FreedomWorks Task Force on Economic Revival and author of Trumponomics, and he joins me now to discuss. Stephen, it's so good to see you. And I have to say, out of all of the stories that I've ever heard the left tell, something that cost $3.5 trillion that actually cost $0, I think is the winner for all time. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, the American people have really been kind of laughing at this comment that not just Joe Biden, but Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, said the same thing, that this, why are people complaining? This is free. And there's two problems with that, Dana. Number one, the bill really actually costs about $5 trillion in terms of the massive increase in debt spending. And there's estimated to be about $2.5 to $3 trillion of taxes. So this isn't paid for. Where does the other $2.5 trillion come from? Obviously, it is going to be through debt. But the other thing is, let's say the whole thing was paid for by taxes. How does that mean it's free? I mean, if you and I have to pay more taxes, how does that make it free to us? So I think it was a dumb thing for the president and the speaker to say. They keep saying it, by the way, even though it's become, even on the late night comedy shows, they're making fun of it.
Yeah, and from what I understand too, Stephen, when they were passing that tax package portion through House Ways and Means, what did they discover? Like, it doesn't even come like halfway to even the increase in taxes to covering the cost of this. And you're right. I mean, it really is actually closer to $5 trillion. So how else do they expect that they're going to get this money? Because then it seems like they have to go to other actual, maybe constitutionally mandated projects that the government is allowed through the enumerated powers to spend money on. So is that what we're looking at? Where are they going to take this money from?
Well, there's a second lie that might be a lot more serious than the first one, which is just recited day after day after day by the Democratic leaders and the president, which is that only people who make over $400,000 will pay for this. Well, no, sorry. The Wall Street Journal did a piece the other day showing that even if you took all the money from every billionaire in America, every penny that they have, that still wouldn't pay for this multi-trillion-dollar bill. And now they have things like car taxes. They have a carbon tax, which is an energy tax in this bill. So I guess the left thinks that people, make less than $400,000 don't have cars and don't turn on the light bulbs. I mean, the point is this is going to affect everyone. Dana, I've been in this game a long time. You have too. I think this is the most financially reckless bill, the most dangerous bill for our economy that I've seen in the 35 years I've been involved in policy. It is going to cause massive inflation. I think it could cause a financial crisis for our country that would make what 2008 and 9 look like to be a picnic. I mean, no country, show me any time in the world where a country has been able to borrow and spend and tax its way to prosperity. It just doesn't happen. But that is the formula here.
And you brought up a very interesting, another good point too, when you were discussing the mileage tax, et cetera. I mean, here we're watching fuel prices increase. I was reading just how this week Boris Johnson and the UK leaders were calling out the British Army because there were so many lines, there were such long lines at gas pumps, and they were having a fuel shortage. And we're talking about supply chain shortages, and inflation, on the brink of inflation. So having a mileage tax on top of all of this, I don't know how they get away with saying that it's not going to affect anybody under $400,000, because those people are going to be affected the most.
Of course. And by the way, this is a little bit Orwellian. The government's going to put a gadget on your car that's going to tell the government how many miles you're traveling and also where you're going. They'll be able to use this to track people. And I hope people don't think we're trying to exaggerate here. I mean, what you've gotten, like in New Zealand now, they have all these lockdown orders, and people got arrested the other day for going to McDonald's or Popeyes. I mean, the governments are out of control in terms of taking away the liberties of people. And then you look at, here's the other thing, Dana. Do you know how many pages this bill is?
2,460 something. And yes. I admittedly have not read all of it.
Yeah, you had it. Very good. I'm impressed. By the way, when's the last time, Damien, you read a 2,500 page book, right? I mean, how many members of Congress are even going to read this bill? And I guarantee you the number of that is pretty close to zero. And I'll guarantee you something else. As we're right now, our group, because we're running a big coalition to try to defeat this bill, we're scouring through this bill, reading the fine print. And there is unbelievable amounts of special interest giveaways to liberal groups. There's a $1 billion slush fund for liberal organizations. It's called for community organizations, which we mean, means basically the unions. It means, People for the American Way and the pro-abortion groups and so on. And that's $1 billion they're going to give to these organizations. That's more than all the right-wing groups in the country have. So how about this? They want to make the labor union dues. They want to make those tax deductible. Gee, that's a nice wet kiss for the labor bosses. They want to give a special tax break. I'm not making this up. They want to give us special tax breaks to reporters. Why would they want to do that? Oh, yeah, maybe it's because the media is in their hip. You got to kill the bill. This is the most important thing for the conservative free market movement in my 35 years. I think we've got some momentum. We need everybody on board. Tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your family, tell everyone how horrible this bill is. We don't need it. The economy is going to be fine without it. We need to start bringing our debt down, not raising it. Every child born today, by the time they're 30, will have a $350,000 share of the national debt if we pay this bill. Is that the legacy we want to leave for our children?